So we look at this, and actually they have Creator and Kelazhur is rather close in terms of power rankings. And I don't know, I feel like you need to up Creator's mindset a little bit. Giving him a 6 right now is maybe just a little bit unfair to him. Paper right, of course, folks. For Team NV, it is a Creator. And at the bottom left, in the red, Kelazhur. Also, and I would like to point this out as it is, it's new, it's very exciting. We got a new GIF emote on the stream. It's a Protoss. You know, Protoss don't have doors in StarCraft, but they do have doors in this channel. In fact, one might say that the video is adorable, or the GIF is adorable. There we go, Grumpage. Exactly. I'm very happy with how it turned out. Now the trick though is we need to figure out what the Terran and the Zerg. I think the Terran meme is just have a ghost going pew 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 all over the place, because that is spammable in 2 matchups, right? That is spammable when the entire Zerg army dies, ultras or you know, whatever else, lurkers, they just get sniped down. They go bam bam bam. They get, or pew pew all down. But the question is, what's the Zerg meme? That's the real big question. I'm not really sure how to do ultras into lose. It could just be the ultraless death animation. But I'm looking for something that is more matchup agnostic. Although ultras into lose is very much a thing in all matchups. But also like game state agnostic. You know, Protoss needs a door the entire time. Yeah, but that's not really a meme. Like, Protoss needs a door, so this is funny. Ghost sniping everything down is funny. The main thing exploding is rather blasé, I think. Also, folks, I do apologize for the FPS. It feels like the production computer is tabbing into and out of StarCraft. Which is so when you're tabbed out of StarCraft, and it's an unfortunate bug, you go down to about like 20 FPS, 23 FPS. It didn't used to be the case. And this is something that Blizzard is aware of, but as they are not fixing bugs anymore or caring about us at all, likely it is something that will never get fixed. Oh, Dev finding his way into the natural limit, delaying the command center. Well, actually not delaying the command center, but just getting an SCV or 2. But the Reaper should actually be able to kill this. Oh, I think Killers just sticks on that 6 on the Adept. He kills it. But he says, no, I'm not really sure. So instead, he runs away. The Adept stays alive. Second Adept finding his way on the other side of the map. Hey, Dynamics Boom. This, by the way, I know I talked about it before we got into the game, but this is a big series. And now it is not nearly as possible as it was. Briefly, it was looking like Liquid had a real strong shot with Platinum Heroes taking Kwangdong Freaks to Game 7. I was like, man, if they take down Kwangdong, suddenly Liquid is right in it if they win today. But because Kwangdong got themselves 2 points, they opened up I believe a 5-point lead. I looked at it before. We started. Yeah, so the Freaks had a 5-point lead going into this week, and they got 2 more points. So it's a 7-point lead. They can Liquid can bring it back down to 4, but 4 is not enough. They would have had to, if the Freaks had lost, then Liquid winning here, it would be 13 points to 15, which is a 2-point differential. And then if Liquid beats KDF next week, or if Liquid had beaten KDF next week, then it would have been, well, Liquid have just moved to playoffs. KDF with a much better series score would have lost, would have not made playoffs. But instead, because Platinum Heroes could not get that last map, and Platinum Heroes have actually, well, actually that's not true, but Oh, Stalker's going to get the probe, but Reaper dies in exchange. Yeah, so briefly, Platinum Heroes, Liquid was their biggest fan, but unfortunately they couldn't quite make it work. And, well, now Liquid is really fighting for pride. There's not a world really where they advance, unfortunately. As they would have to 6-0 here, and they'd have to, well, there's just no one that they can catch. They have 10 points if they got 13. I mean, well, technically, if they get, no, they would they'd be -1. So I was going to say, if they get 3 points here, and they get 3 points next week, they'd be up to 16. But because Kong and Freak went up to 17, as they won in the ace match last week, it's 16 versus 17. Medevac surviving with HP, well, it is in my world. That's fair. Also, hey, Fionn. How's it going? We should talk about this game a little bit, not just theory crafting about what this means. The game itself. Creator's gone for just a straight Colossus opening, I believe. I don't think he got Blink. And Kelazhur's gearing up for a build you all know and love very well. 3 barracks, 1 factory, 1 starport, stim, combat shields, +1, concussive shells as well. And he's going to look to run across the map because Waterfall is, in the words of Maru, very playable. It is extremely playable. So, he's going to run across the map, try to make something happen, and we're going to have to see if he's going to be able to accomplish it. Now, he does have a Raven, and the Raven was briefly, looks like it's back with the army right now, but was briefly in a rather interesting spot. But now it's just kind of sitting behind the army. Is Creator doing a good job knocking down Marines, getting maybe a little bit of damage on Marauded, but wouldn't mind drop into the natural Kelazhur because he knows Creator's maybe paying more attention to the army at the front than he is to his main base. So Kelazhur or Creator, Creator. Oh, well, 12 workers go down, and now Kelazhur has less of a need to get something done. Now the first disable will go down on this Colossus, but good force fields are going to keep the army of Kelazhur out for the moment. But remember, Kelazhur just got 12 workers. He's okay with getting more. So, the drop finding its way in once again and again. Creator does not seem to be paying attention. Oh, he pulls right into it, and this is a problem indeed. 7 more workers go down. Grand total of 19 probes. But Kelazhur doesn't seem to be paying attention with his army at the front of the map just a little bit. Now, Colossus firing strong here. Kelazhur trying to micro on forward. Auto turret means that the Colossus will not be disabled. And yeah, Kelazhur looks like he's in orbit. Exactly, Grumpage. I mean, these Widow Mines have gotten so much damage done. I want to say it's 22 probes, maybe even more, that have died over the course of this game. So Creator, he finds himself down 10 workers against a 2-base Terran, which is really not great. And he is getting ready for some aggression of his own. 23 workers, okay. As Medevac will fall. No 1 HP Medevac for you, Grumpage. But I don't know that he's necessarily going to be... Oh, wait, no, their force fields are just not a good spot. So 1 Colossus is going to fall. 2nd Colossus is doing a good job. Those hanging back. But remember, there are Widow Mines, there are bunkers here, SCVs on the repair. And the Raven should have enough energy back. So now, Stalkers run forward, they trigger 1 Widow Mine. But Vikings are on the way. So eventually, life is going to get easier for Kelazhur. He's going to be able to deal with these Colossus a little bit easier. But for now, Colossus running forward, being the articles, the siege engines of war that they are, trying to bust this bunker down eventually. As now Stalkers run forward into the range of things. Bunker's not going to go down, though. Good repair on things. The armor shredder missile makes it so much harder for Creator to take the fight that he might like. That being said, now SCVs are starting to fall just a little bit as the long-range Colossus just sitting there menacingly. But as the Vikings arrive, the Colossus are not as strong as they once were. Now we're going to see the vision go down first, but of course Colossus provide that as well. And yeah, Ray, I mean, Blink Stalker Colossus is not just a Wings of Liberty composition. This has been a composition for a long time now. But okay, Stalkers actually, they saw this. I'm not sure where exactly they saw it, but they did see the medevac go out, so they're going to be able to catch that for the most part. Widow Mines will not get any Stalkers or Sentries or anything like that, but Kelazhur behind this. He is still on a rather nice, maybe that Observer's dot, I'm not sure. But he's still on a really nice worker count. His tech is advancing at pace. Now, the lack of +1 armor surprises me, just going straight into +2 attack. But I guess if it's a Colossus heavy army, you don't really care about armor as much because of how Overkill works. So if this was a much more charge lot Stalker army, then yeah, sure. you go and you get +1 armor. But if it's Colossus as the bulk of the force, then okay, armor matters less. You go for that. So the DPS out of Kelazhur's army is going to be incredibly powerful, oppressive, overwhelming, as this +2 does complete. That being said, supplies are equal, which is really going to favor the Protoss player for the most part in straight up engagement. So Kelazhur scans out. He sees, okay, the 3 Colossus there are on the 3rd base platform, but he's going to get the pressure going anyways. Let's see what he can get done here. And looks like for the moment just kind of waffling around. But he has, of course, been able to secure his 3rd base. And that's the big deal. His worker count is at a rather nice, rather tasty 59. And yeah, sure, maybe he would want a little bit more. But remember, the main base is starting to mine out. And he is fully saturated, or just about fully saturated, on the 3rd. So here comes some Zealots into the 3rd base. Creator trying to just keep Kelazhur back at home as long as he can. And if he gets some more value, that is always going to be nice. So Zealots knocking down 4 SCVs at the start. He's going to get maybe a couple more before they teleport back to the mothership. Because... fun fact, folks. Zealots do not die in StarCraft. According to the lore, that soul release when they die, and you see the puff of something, that is actually them teleporting back to the mothership, for the most part, to be brought back to be another day in another set of armor. It really just is. It is the armor cracking. Is now here comes the army rolling forward. And we have, let's see, okay, it looks like there was one High Templar looking for the disable. Big disruptor shot there. Kelazhur, a 2nd shot. And yes, 1 Colossus will fall, but this army of Kelazhur is not really working out for him all that well, even with 2-1. Even with this upgrade advantage, he's going to have to run home a little bit. Widowmine on the backside is going to do a nice job there. And with Storm just about done, we're going to have 3 levels of splash in the army of Creator soon enough. But Kelazhur's going to try to turn around on this army. EMP's blanket it. I'm just going to get a fine zealot. Fine, tasty zealot on the right side, but it's a single zealot. Excuse me. All right. So the problem is really hard for Kelazhur to move up the ramp right now, but it is similarly difficult for Creator to move down the ramp, even with all the splash that he has. So Kelazhur, taking advantage of the way this map works, he kind of pinned Creator onto his 4th base, which means this 3rd base is wide the hell on open. 2 big bursts, 3 big bursts, and it does go down. Armor Shredder missile as well. This Raven has stayed alive the entire game as Kelazhur stims again, fighting a running battle back home. Not really even getting damage onto the units that have had their armor shredded, but even still, 5 workers die. The Nexus falls, and now Kelazhur in a better position to spread out to take maybe a more advantageous fight. And with his 4th base on the way, he is going to find himself in a wonderful economic situation. But this army that Creator has with 2-1 is an extremely powerful one, especially as a decent component of Kelazhur's army. Is not nearly as relevant anymore. Widowmines in the era of disruptors and Colossus just don't do a whole hell of a lot. But okay, now we're going to see Armor Shredder Missile go down once again. How good are our splits in the Disruptors? Picking off at the edge, but the Vikings uncontested for the most part here. Stalkers not really able to get on top of them. 1 Colossus will fall. Kelazhur on top of the Disruptor. No, he does not get it. And a Storm as well. He's just waffling in it, sitting in it. So much that this army is red, and it was like me when I got a sunburn the other day. So Kelazhur's going to have to back up. He's going to have to heal back up with Medivacs. I think are rather low on energy. We're going to have to see where he's able to find the value. But remember, there are... Well, it's only... Okay, no, actually, that's a lot of Disruptors, but good Widowmine on top of them. Okay, big shot right there. Kelazhur fighting a running battle back home. He's made so many good moves in this game, but it does not look like it will matter. Creator is looking dominant game number 1. Waterfall, it's playable for the Terran, but it is maybe not playable for this Terran. Not in this game. Creator showing more and more and more of the class that he showed during Valencia. He takes 1-0 lead, and that was with taking 23 workers of damage as the push happened. That was with losing his 3rd base. Hey, Muster Max 97, thanks so much for the follow, my friend. Glad you're here. Now we're going to move into game 2. Bottom right, Kelazhur. And that is one of the nice things about being able about covering this evening. Now, of course, these games happened at 8 a.m. this morning, but one of the nice things about covering this in the evening is we can just fast forward all the wait and just go straight into we can just go straight into the games, which is very, very nice. So it looks like TSL qualifiers, for the most part, by the way, are... Well, there are 3 qualifiers remaining, I believe. Are there any... Europe's all done, right? Oh, I thought Europe qualifier 3 had happened, but I guess that happens tomorrow. Okay. Never mind. So there's one regional qualifier for Europe. Oop. Sorry for this Slack notification, friends. So yeah, only European qualifier number 3. Then we're gonna have server qualifiers in the next week. Korea on Thursday morning. Europe on Friday midday. And North America Saturday evening. All Eastern time, respectively. So I'm excited for those. All of chat, right? Exactly. I'm like, I was trying to set up a meeting tomorrow with a guy I know who's more experienced in a project I'm working on. Because I have a simulation that is blowing up when the I'm working on that bolus problem, and when it spins around, like because I'm making it going from a forcing method instead of a like conservation of momentum method, it blows up. So I'm trying to figure out why that is. All right, so Creator runs in, and we got to talk about Moondance a little bit, because Moondance is a weird map. And it's funny, pros during the Valencia interviews, they're like, I don't really know how I feel about Moondance. It feels too standard. I don't know that I agree. It's opening up some different play styles. We saw in the first couple weeks of it, we saw the Zerg players and Protoss players being greedy as hell, but hold that thought, because Kelazhur running in right before the shield battery is done, but does not get the Adept. Now these 3 Marines, 2 Hellions. He's taking a page out of Clem's book, really. But unfortunately, Clem's book is difficult to read, and Kelazhur apparently not quite as literate in the book of Clem as Clem is. So he's going to lose these Marines, going to lose these Hellions. We see 2 Marines that die at once. But Widowmines actually have a good shot at dealing with the Adepts if Creator is paying attention, but he runs right on by. In fact, he dodges a Widowmine as well. Now 3 Adepts into the natural. 3 Adepts, of course, they one-shot SCVs. So, Observer, please. They're going to get 3 workers. They also one-shot Marines. So, 4 workers will fall. Marines there, and SCVs trying to zone away from things. Adepts now, they're going to bounce on out. Wait for the shields to regen and do it again. But now there's a Widowmine. 3 more Adepts. Creator's going to go for, I guess Creator's going to go for a Adept Phoenix bust. That's really cool. But there is 1 low Adept here. But actually, that being said, the Marines are just not enough to really deal with this. They're going to get 1, sure, but they will die in the exchange, and more Adepts find their way in as well. Kelazhur may just be dead. And that's a really weird thing to say, but Kelazhur has literally nothing on the field. He's 14 army supply, but a lot of that is in production. He only has 1 Marine and 1 Cyclone, and yes, okay. I think it's really interesting, actually, that Creator is attempting to dodge, as a Widowmine will get its pound of flesh right there. I think it's interesting to see that the Creator is trying to dodge this bunker that actually has nothing in it. But so it goes. Okay, so 5 Phoenix in the air, and again, a lot of the anti-air has been dealt with. So Phoenix lock-on is just going to get canceled immediately. Second Phoenix arrives, Viking gets sniped, but I think we saw one Phoenix die. Second one's going to fall as well. Good lock-ons there. Good crisis management coming in from Kelazhur. So now Crater with Colossus on the field. He's bought himself all the time in the world for this to happen, really. I don't think he got, what, 5-6 SCVs. But he got all the Marines. He knocked down so much of the tech in the army of Kelazhur. And this is also after Kelazhur opted for early aggression with the Hellions and the Marines running their way onto the other side of the map. So not only did Kelazhur not get anything done with his aggression, which when you go for aggression and it doesn't work, it puts you behind. He lost a lot on the counter swing. So yeah, technically Kelazhur may be setting himself up just by the timings for that 7:30, 8-minute move out. He is not going to go for that. We're going to have to see it. And there already is a third base going down behind this, or already done, excuse me. So Kelazhur's economy is going to be able to catch up. Yeah, with Triple Mule fixes a lot of things. But Crater, of course, with the time that he has, the space that he's opened up for himself at this point, which is not quite as expansive as the images of space we got from James Webb. By the way, did you folks... The James Webb pictures are so pretty, especially the ones that they showed today. The cloud, the gas cloud. Yeah. The Carina Nebula. Oh, it's so pretty. But anyways, okay, more and more Phoenix are on the way with these Colossus. So Crater is doing the more modern style. We do occasionally still see the 5 Phoenix into Colossus idea, but this one, again, you get a lot more. It allows you to maintain Phoenix over multiple fights. You just have a lot more utility over the course of the game. It's more threat on things like medevacs. But here comes the army of Kelazhur. He's going to knock down some stack defense to start. Charged is not yet done. Neither is like, oh, that was a problem there, Crater. Instead of dragging the Widow Mines on top of his opponent's army, he dragged them onto his own army. But still, Kelazhur is going to be hard-pressed to fight into this position. But we will see an immortal fall. There we go. Sneaks on forward. Another Widow Mine goes off. More Zealots die. It felt like that could have been a lot worse. But even still, that could have been a lot worse for Kelazhur. He really took the best possible trade, but he wasn't able to punch through. His army was just not good enough, and now Creator, he's still up 40 supply, 30 army supply, and yeah, he dragged some Widowmine shots onto his entire army. Yeah, he did. Is that what you want? No, it's not. But not really sure how much it matters at the end of the day. So the Creator has been able to maintain his ult on the 4th base, as our observer shows us very elegantly that the WTL logo is right where the pylon died. Is it just me, or does it feel like this game is being played on like minorly lower settings, like high instead of ultra? I don't know. It seems like the polygon count is like when we see the pylon die, it seems a little low res, but maybe that's just because this is a 1080p YouTube feed on a 4K monitor. I don't know. But look at what Creator's got done here. He's added himself. He's gotten onto 4 Colossus. Hey, Piotr, or Piotr, or I don't know how to pronounce the double Y. Anyway, here comes the army of Creator, and he's gone 4 Colossus against an army that really does not have a lot of Vikings. EMP is first one will miss, which means the Archon is going to be able to stay alive for the most part. Creator, this attack, he would love to kill Kelazhur. In fact, he very well might, but it is also they're gonna go and he's gonna defend this 5th base. Zealots run forward. EMP is on the army. Widowmine as well. Creator seems to be having problems with the Widow Mines here. Zealots into the 4th base. Yeah, that actually is the 4th base. 3.5 base. of Kelazhur, the planetary in any means, as now the Zealots, they run in. Tank gets lifted, and here comes the army of Kelazhur looking for this around, but I'm not really sure what even matters. The Colossus are fighting by themselves, and they're winning this fight. One Colossus has to get picked up, but 3 Colossus, they still remain, and Kelazhur's got to tap out. Creator finds himself a 2-0. And again, Liquid, they cannot make playoffs anymore because of what happened, because KDF did not lose to Platinum Heroes. But they can secure themselves 8th place. That is already rather nice. Hey, Great White, 1919. Thanks so much for the follow as well. Also, folks, I would like to point out, if you are a subscriber on this channel, we got a new emote. And I think it's fantastic. Because Protoss needs a goddamn door. Oh, Kelazhur or Elazer versus Nightmare. And while Nightmare has been very good as of late, specifically in his PvP, I mean, I think this is fair. Elazer, and actually, in fairness though, Elazer has been struggling in his PvC or in his ZVP. He's lost a lot of high-profile matches recently. It seems like he just doesn't quite know how to deal with it just yet. And to the bottom left, Nightmare. His opponent in the upper right, folks, in the red. Elazer, the Zerg. All right, just realized I forgot to do something, but we're good now. The question, though, first of all, this new style of PvZ, or ZVP, PvZ, actually, is really cool. And it's something I've very much been enjoying watching, but I don't know how good Nightmare is at it. And I do know that Elazer has been struggling rather significantly with the style. So I'm curious, every week he gets a little bit better, but he got kind of stomped by Showtime in the Valencia group stages. And in fact, if you look at his Aligulac, well, it's going to show a record that is not, even as Elazer was looking really good in the group stages of Valencia, Valencia European Regional, it seems like he's taken a step back specifically in this matchup. So yeah, his, I mean, it still says his ZVP is at a 73% win rate. But like he was 2-0 by Max Packs earlier. I mean, he beat Extra Striker fine, but he hasn't beaten Showtime in a good long time. He's beaten, well, he hasn't beaten a lot of Protoss recently. Yeah, Tater Tutor. Overlord is epic action. Do I need to pull a Wardy and like play-by-play the Overlord? I don't think so. I don't think we need that type of content. So how, you know, everyone talks about making content for everything and how much they think it's important. But how can you be pro content? Right? Because con is like, I don't know, right? Because it's like, you know, the old joke about how Congress is the opposite of progress. But anyways, Nightmare, a little bit active on the map with added depth. But really, it's the scouting. It doesn't get much done. Elazer third base down on location, not delayed all that much. And I didn't notice because I was talking about other things, whether Elazer did go for the doubling opening or whether it was 4. We have started to see Zergs try to find really, really small efficiencies in the early to mid game, which is what tells you that a build is strong. When you have Zerg players that say, yeah, I can't play this game like normal. I have to cut a ling. I have to cut a pair of lings to make sure that I can get an extra drone out, to macro up a little harder, to hit my timing slightly faster to stay alive. So Oracle's now going to find its way into the third, and that is a missed macro there from Nightmare. Could have been a dead drone, but instead he gets damage on a queen that doesn't really matter, and the spore cancel will be successful. And I don't think he turned off the pulsar beam all that quickly either. So that Oracle, number 1, takes a little bit of hull damage and runs back home. It's not really going to get much of anything. Okay, I guess this is off replays. Dark, yeah. Hey, Cario, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Hopefully in Atlanta we'll be actually Steadfast and I both will be in person. We'll you'll hear us with the echo of the crowd in our mics. That'd be really cool. And Dark, yes, Dark is insane. He looked so good, and honestly, despite that, I think Hero should have won that series. That Hero made a couple. There's 2 builds he used in game 2 were really dumb. Or the first 2 games were just not good builds, and then he kind of had a couple donkey moves in game 5, and then, well, it felt like Mario was he wasn't 4-3'd. It felt like Mario was, or it looks like one Oracle died, maybe, as a couple workers die. I felt like Mario was okay. No, Oracles are still alive, diving back into the main base once again, and we do notice that Elazer has gone. Okay, there's the dead Oracle. I just told the future. He has gone for the +1 melee style. This is something that Scarlet has been pushing for the most part, and other players have been adopting it, where +1 melee is done right around the time that Blinking +1 is done. You're able to get this round and kill everything off. But yeah, I did feel like that that Mario was more like he was 5-2'd in the best of 7. Like, it felt like Dark was dominating that entire series, and Mario was lucky to win the 3 games that he did. Hey, that's exciting. So as part of I'm doing TSL. I'm only doing the online portion, but I'm doing TSL. And as part of that, because they are sponsored by Team Liquid, or they're sponsored by Secret Labs and their chairs, I'm getting a really nice Team Liquid chair like you've seen in Wardy and Rotterdam. Pretty much all the other casters at this point, that everyone that's done TSL, they have that nice Liquid chair that they're sitting on. So I'm gonna get one of those, and I just got notification that it has been shipped, and I'll have it by Thursday, which is very exciting. An actual pro gamer move. But when will Atlanta be? So Atlanta Online is going to be... I forget when Atlanta Online starts. That's probably on Liquipedia if it has been announced as of yet. But we do know with DreamHack Atlanta, the offline component is going to be November 18th through 21st, which is the Friday through Sunday in the middle of November. But okay, Baneling's on the way. Elazer going double upgrades here. And Nightmare has not been super aggressive with the Stalkers just yet. His blink is done. His +1 is done. And generally, we expect to see a lot of aggression with that. Elazer did a great job. Will pop the Stasis Trap immediately, but there's still 3 Oracles here, and Elazer really does not want to run off creep. It feels like the age-old story of ZVT. The Zerg never wants to leave creep and just take fights on creep and be okay with that. That rule has lessened just a little bit. Meanwhile, in this matchup, it does feel like absolutely the Zerg has to stay on creep. And it also feels like Zergs are struggling to get their creep even more than they are against Terrans, which is, again, surprising considering that the complaint that Protoss have had for the longest time is that we can't clear creep. It's always been the Terrans. But anyways, the Stalker's now getting active a little bit more forward. And Nightmare is doing the thing that we are seeing some Protoss players start to do is, ooh, good stasis there, but I don't know that he's going to be able to get too much more done. Anyway, he started to do that thing where you just see more and more Oracles continuously produced after +2 gets started, after Double Forge is there. But now Baneling's looking to roll into the third base, and Baneling's, they knocked out. The force field's nice, but Baneling's, they come rolling in. Oh, no, they don't. Fantastic force fields there. Elazer gets 5 Orcas, but he would have liked to get a whole hell of a lot more. And now Nightmare Blinks in once again, but the question we're looking at, folks, is whether Elazer will be able to hold on to his 5th base, because that has been his problem, that has been his bane. Pretty much since the style has started, that's why he lost against Showtime, that's why he lost against pretty much every Protoss player that he's lost to. He just cannot seem to keep his 5th base alive on these maps. The Biles will land, not really. And there we go, Stasis Trap on, what is that, 5-6 Roaches and a bunch of Lings. But the Lings will be able to deny that. Oh, the kill, actually. The 5th base attempt from Nightmare, and it is important to point out that Nightmare has not been able to expand as aggressively as someone like Hero would. Elazer for the moment is up a base on his opponent, but now he's going to be able to jump on a little bit more. Again, another great stasis. Banelings again roddling their way into the 3rd base this time. Force fields are hella delayed. 819. 19 probes play the Iron Price. Banelings are going to kill yet more. Oh, Nightmare's falling apart a little bit here. He took a fight. He lost the fight in the middle of the map as well. Meanwhile, what are those? Zealots on the 5th base of Elazer and the 4th. Elazer, his entire army in the middle of the map. He has to deal with this one, and well, Zealot's not getting on top of any workers just yet. Elazer able to remax once again. But Stalker's now moving forward here from Elazer. He's active, or from Nightmare. He's really active everywhere, and that is the most exciting component of this style, really. It's just how maneuverable everything is. You always just see stuff happening everywhere in the map at once. And yes, dealing. When you're at 163, 173 supply, it gets censored. Mainly is looking to find a little bit more connections. +2 says 14. 17 workers die. Roaches on a concave with that +1. Yeah, it's not +2, but it's going to be good enough here. Oh, the Biles low knocked 2 oracles down as well. I did not expect that one to happen. But that is so much utility removed from the map. And again, the Zealots, they run in. They cannot find the value they're looking for. It's been touch and go for Elazer over the last several minutes, but he really has built himself a massive lead. At this point, he has his hive. +3 attack in the way, +2 ranged, and adrenal. His Lings are about to chew their way on through everything, and now Elazer feeling confident enough that he can send Roaches as a harassment force on the map, not just Lings and Banes. So, yeah, I don't know that the Roaches are going to be able to necessarily beat this Nexus down, but actually they might be able to. Yeah, Nightmare's not really responding quickly enough because his army supply really in the dumps. So, Stasis Trap number 1 will get triggered. Lings are going to try to knock this wall down. Banelings rolling through, but there are actually, funnily enough, the Stasis Trap kind of saves those Banelings' lives. But now again, the Roaches, the Ravagers punching through on the bottom side. Cannons go down, gateways go down. That's less production now for the Protoss player, and Stasis Traps looks like they're getting triggered. Banelings into the 3rd base as well. Oh, Elazer's just swarming here. 25 workers will fall. And, oh, I'm sorry, Astro, the bracket command, I need to disable that because these maps happened this morning. So if you check out a bracket, it's not going to say what's happened already. It's going to say everything that's happened, and that's a spoiler. So command disable. Hopefully that did it. Ah, okay, I don't know what it does. Anyway, oracles, they fly and they really don't get much of anything. But yeah, the bracket command is turned off. Well, I don't use it. Better way to say that. So Nightmare really is just scrabbling for space at this point. I think it's interesting though. We've seen some Zergs really lean into quick ultras in this style, and it does feel like ultra into lose is still a thing. If the Protoss is able to stabilize at all, it's like, well, they get into immortals and it really does not feel good. As Oracle's looking for a little snipe on the Queen, but Spore's still there, so it's not going to get too much economic value. And again, it's only 4 mineral patches, so it's not like Elazer's making hella bucks on that base, on that main base. But now here come Lings and Mains rolling in. 2 Archons are really not going to be able to do enough of anything here. So army supplies, in fairness, have equalized a little bit more. Banelings look to roll in. Force fields are nice, but they don't get them all. But still, Stalkers, actually, they're really only taking shield damage at this point. With shield battery overcharge, that's going to be nice enough for now, but the Roaches, Ravagers piling in. And with the Lings on production here, actually, it's Elazer just building a lot of Roaches. And this is not the best fight for him. That's a big concave. Really, it is for Nightmare. Nightmare losing 11 more workers, but he's still around that 60 mark. Even still, though, as Elazer punches out from the concave, from the shield battery overcharge, he does lose a whole hell of a lot more. And it doesn't really matter how badly Elazer trades at this point, because, well, he just doesn't have stuff. Oracles will be able to knock this queen down really quickly. And I don't think they don't get the base necessarily, but we do have a noted lack of anti-air on the map for Elazer right now. Okay, here come the Stalkers once again. But I mean, force fields are nice. That being said, Ravager Vials, they can slow that one down. And the unending swarm of the Zerg. Nightmare's taken a bunch of really good fights recently, but it does not feel that it just really matters at the end of the day because, again, the money's the problem. And they say you got more money, more problems. Well, in this case, it's Nightmare has less money, and he has more problems indeed. His Oracles are doing their best, but they run out of energy eventually. Now Roaches find their way into the natural. And yeah, Elazer can't really punch through the fourth base, but he will knock the third base down. He will find a tremendous value in the natural, which is still technically a mining base there for Nightmare. And maybe these Roaches die. That is absolutely a sacrifice that Elazer is willing to make, because he'll take some of the Stalkers with him. He'll take a bunch of the probes with him, and now it really is starting to look dire here. All right, we're just going to disable this. We're just going to disable the manual way. There we go. No more confusion. But Banelings again. They're going to try to find these sentries. They get one, they get two, they get three. So the force field, they get dropped. But again, the Zerg army comes spilling on forward. Nightmare desperate to play this game out, but it appears to be a fantasy of his. And I guess that nightmares happen when you're dreaming, but fantasies, well, they only work so well. So Lings, Banes, they're going to find their way once again, and there really isn't anything anymore. There we go. Nightmare falls. Elazer, he takes game one, and that game's been over for a while. Now we're going to have to see whether Nightmare has what it takes to tie this series up to take it again. Or does Elazer avenge his teammate and go for that 2-0? All right. So Nightmare did go for a hatch block in this game, which is not nearly as prescribed as it used to be. You'd say, okay, well, yeah, it happens every game. I mean, that was the Stargate meta. But now we're starting to see slight deviations in that, where on the one hand, you see Zergs that go and they say, hey, I'm gonna go. And or at Protoss, they say, hey, yeah, I'm gonna block this because I want to be able to harass with the depths a little bit stronger. And then you also have Protoss that say, yeah, it's actually not worth the minerals, the 50-odd minerals a minute. Then I'm going to lose doing that. Instead, I'd rather have a delayed scout, and I'd rather have a quicker Oracle, which may allow you to say get on over to the other side of the map before the spore is up, and then find a lot of value. Especially considering that Zergs have been trying their darndest to delay spores really as much as they can. And in fact, we've seen Elazer die that way. We've seen Scarlet die that way. We've seen other Zergs die that way, where they say, yeah, I don't need a spore. And then Triple Oracle dives in. Even with the two queens, it doesn't matter. They dive on top, and it's like, well, GG no re. So, Stargate now on the way for Nightmare. Also, as we're sitting here waiting for much to happen, and I do like this punish. This is a punish we've actually seen more and more often, where Elazer opened up double ling instead of quad ling, which is the standard, has been the standard. But again, Zergs, they keep trying to eke out small advantages where they can. And then if you drop the sentry or you drop the pylon like this when it's only 2 lings, that buys time for the adept to find its way onto the base. Oh, he's going to block it. Yeah, this is such a problem. These 2 lings do not fight this adept. And Elazer's natural is going to be delayed for just about, or a third base, I guess, is going to be delayed for just about forever now. Yeah, eventually lings pop out. Eventually speed is done. Eventually queens are maybe able to knock this down. But now adept in the main. Okay, well, he's going to try to find a little bit more value. Honestly, I don't think he needs to. Oh, good cancels here from Elazer, though, dodging the projectiles in motion. But that's still 3 cancels. And you talk about each cancel costs you 17 minerals plus lost mining time. Although it looks like Elazer was able to get the third base down. 3 cancels like that is almost a drone. No, it is a drone. It's worth more than a drone. 51 minerals. So, yeah, it's nice to keep your drones alive, and losing a drone is worth more than a single drone, but even still, Oracle now flying in, looking for a little bit more damage. 1 worker falls, make it 2. No, he's not going to be confident enough, and Nightmare's Oracle micro has left a little bit to be desired. I mean, that's fair, Dynamics Boom. I mean, it's the larva, but it's also the drone count in and of itself. It's also mining. Because especially when you have triple queen out. Although that being said, it was only double hatch at that point, which the Protoss will always outproduce a Zerg and workers on double hatch. So when triple hatch pops up, it's like, okay, well, yeah, the larva explosion can happen in earnest. So delaying that with the adepts is very nice. The Zerglings flood onto the other side of the map, and this is a lot of lings to commit early here from Elazer into a Nightmare. He is going for a Glaives build. Now, Oracle's flying once again. 3 more workers fall. Oracle, oh, getting so damn low. But lings, they're going to try to find some damage onto this third base, but as more adepts, they rotate in, and Oracles are just going to get recalled, which is nice. That means the Oracles are not going to be annoying on the other side of the map, but the lings will not get much more than that. 3 workers have died for the Zerg. And how many gateways are we on? That's the real big question. How many gateways has our Protoss player? That's 2 gateways right there. Another one on the way. I think another one in the wall. So 4 gate glaives out of adept play with a decently timed third base. Now, of course, this is a delayed adept play. This is the, I don't know. I've always called it the stats build because it seemed like he was the one that was doing it first. But it is a build that is meant to punish greedy Zergs who may be skipping a Roach Warden, which, by the way, Elazer did. Or he delayed it significantly, but it feels hard for Nightmare to run across the map right now with how active these lings are being. So 3 workers will fall, make it 4, make it maybe 5. Yeah, okay. 6 workers will pay the price. But the Roach Warden's not done, and there are very few lings on the map right now for Elazer. He's got 16 on the way, but the adepts, they're already on top of creep. So 4 into the third base, and then a whole hell of a lot more. Oh, no, actually, I guess all of them into the natural. 6 workers die. No, sorry, those are the probes, but we're going to start to see a lot of workers die here for the Zerg as queens have to run their way back on home. 1 queen has already fallen. Make it a second one. Actually, okay, that's not... It's barely going to survive. And Elazer's worker count is actually... Or queen count is actually really nice. It looks like he's on 8 or 9 queens. And that will make it a little bit easier for him to defend. But now adepts in the third base. Ling is running away or running into this. But not enough roaches just yet. So the adepts are going to be able to clean these lings and still find a little bit of economic damage. It's going to be a couple more drones falling, and this should be the final shade of the adepts, I think. As on the high ground they will go, but the roaches again, they're a little bit slow. The queens also, they're beefy girls, but they don't really add a lot of DPS. So a couple more workers will fall anyways. Make it 8. Make it 8. So here comes the lasers, up 30 army supply, and in fairness, he did lose some amount of his army, but not a ton. It looks like he's actually not going to be able to get that much done. Spire is going to be on the way. The question, though, is whether Nightmare's timing. As Oracle's on the other side of the map, they're going to knock this Ravager. With Queens here, maybe not. The question is whether Spire is going to be done by the time the +1 blink timing is ready. Because Nightmare... Well, he's going to want to move out with that. That's actually one of the big reasons why we don't see Spire play nearly as much as we used to, or even we saw at the start of this patch. It's kind of the same idea where you look at a 2-on-1 where the Zerg says, oh, you know, Spire is really good. But then the Zerg realizes that, right around the same timing that they want their Spire, that their Spire will finish, right around the same timing as their mutas are going to be able to hit the map. It's the same timing that the Protoss looks to be aggressive. So now charge on the way, +2 as well, and Nightmare again doing that thing that, well, really just has become part and parcel of the style at this point, just getting more oracles. But he hasn't really moved out of the map just yet. He's got 5 bases, but those are more bases to defend, and we got to talk about how Moondance really sucks to defend by air. There's just so much dead air space, and at the spot on the left side, if you're looking where the Protoss base is, you can kind of bounce between 3 bases very easily. But here comes the pressure from Nightmare. This 5th base of Elazer is just, it's dead. He's not going to be able to defend that. His +1 melee is not done. His mutas are on the way. So these Stalkers are terrifying. They have +1, and a good portion of the army of Elazer really just cannot fight them. Zealots on the bottom side are going to knock a queen down, but the mutas should be able to deal with that one for the most part. Link's trying to get on top of these Stalkers as well, but Stays Trap says, no, you don't really need to do that one. Mutas will be able to deal with the Zealots for the most part. 3 workers die, but really that is acceptable losses for the Zerg. And Elazer's really ramping up his muta count here. He is committing hardcore to this one. He's going to want to go for a base trade eventually, because that is the eventual... That's just how these games tend to end. But now here comes the army of Elazer onto the other side of the map. Mutas into the mineral lines. We talked about this. These are some extremely vulnerable mineral lines in the natural, in the pocket base, and in the main. But 6 workers will die right now. Zealots into that natural. Yeah, that's not going to get much of anything. +1 lings. Well, actually, no, they're +0 lings, but there's just a lot of them. Will do a damn fine job. And Elazer is getting prepared for the eventual base trade. He knows how this works. He knows what's going to happen. So 6 spines are going to go down. Just more and more lings, more and more mutas on the way. A Baneling Nest, I think, feels like a pipe dream. But Elazer is getting pretty close to maxing out here. And the mutas actually, they feel like they can take this fight against the Stalkers. Lings piling their way in. Mutas just sitting on top of these Stalkers. And it looks like, yeah, Elazer may be actually able to take this fight, which feels weird. But he will be able to sit on top of them, knocking down a lot of these Stalkers. More get warped in. And with static defense, it doesn't feel like Elazer can do it anymore. Now Stalkers blink forward. Mutas rejoin the fight once again. But Zealots into the natural, I think. Maybe Oracles, but something into the natural of Elazer have killed 5 more drones. Looks like will be the Oracles this time, but mutas should be able to chase this down. Or not? Well, okay. But Stalkers, bottom side, middle side, actually. They're going to get so many Overlords. Elazer now, well, we're going to have to see some Elazer Lords. And I don't know that he's the Larva for it just yet. So again, Nightmare runs forward again. Elazer looks to pounce on top of this army. +2, +1 is done on the Lings. +2 is on the way. So they will actually fight these Stalkers tremendously well. Especially with the Stalker or the mutas just kind of sitting there buffering for shots. So Link's trying to get on top of these Stalkers. They blink heavily backwards. And so long as Nightmare's behind his static defense, I don't really see him breaking this. But Zealots will be, of course, delayed by these spines on this 5th base of Elazer. So good job there. Oracles will now finally fall to the mutas. And Stalkers right side, they should be able to kill this base, though. So Elazer, while he does have... well, actually, this is his 5th base, so he's going to try to keep this one alive. And looks like he will be able to do so, actually, as the Stalkers blinking backwards. Lings on the ground. Mutas in the air. Is this the fight that Elazer wants? This is the fight that he's going to need to push things back. The Lings are now starting to fall. Mutas in the air starting to fall here as well. Good blinks here from Nightmare. He's blinking for his life, and it looks like for now, well, I look at the supply and it tells me a different story. And yeah, with the roaches coming in, no longer does this look nearly as good for Nightmare as it otherwise did. The Stalkers continue to fall. These mutas in the sky with diamonds are just dominating Nightmare right now. He thought he could take the fight, and I did too, but it will not be enough. The blinks were not quite good enough here. And now all the Stalkers are dead. Nightmare only at 100 supply. 68 Stalkers have died for 17 mutas in this game, and now the bases of Nightmare are under threat. We're going to see the cannons go down. Toot sweet. Stalkers, of course, they warp in. That's the only thing that Nightmare has that can defend this. but he really cannot. The muta count is too high. 29 stalkers to 9, or 29 mutas to 9 stalkers is not what you're looking for necessarily. So these stalkers will die. This base will die. And just more and more mutas on the way for Elazer at this point. I don't really see what Nightmare's going to be able to do to defend down 100 supply. But he's shown some fantasy GG timings before. We're going to have to see what happens this game. But folks, it's looking like we're going to be moving into our final series, which is, of course, Clem versus DRG. Tied up 2-2. And while Liquid, they don't really have a shot to make playoffs anymore, unfortunately. They needed a lot of things to go their way, and Platinum Heroes were not able to pull through. They still want to win. For pride, for glory, and Lings, they're not even going to bother to run through, even with the lack of a door. Stalkers, they blink forward, and that just means the Stalkers can die. Shiv out overcharge against pops, but let's see how quickly. Yeah, the mutas kill that so damn fast. +1 mutas, or they shred everything. Stalkers are doing what they can, and they got 2-1, so they survive a little bit. They do damage a little bit, but Elazer literally doubling the supply of his opponent. And that means now, folks, that we're going to be moving into Clem versus DRG as soon as this game is over. Tied up 2 apiece. And with how good a DRG has been, with how good Clem has been, I don't see that one necessarily going 2-0. I mean, it could be, but I don't see that going 2-0 either way. There we go. Nightmare GG's out. Elazer looking spicy. Well, his PVZ has not been good lately. It was good enough to take down Nightmare. I feel like DRG again. He's being undersold a little bit. Do I watch GSL? Yeah, Curio. I consume as much. I consume as much StarCraft content as I possibly can. I do. By the way, I do not think that Clem is worth 12 points higher on DRG. Yeah, Ragnarok is rather cheeky. He's a lot of fun. I'm excited to see him play on Thursday. Right? Yes, he plays Dark and Bunny on Thursday. That's exciting. Yeah. Hit him with the baguettes. We'll see if that works. In and out. Oh, this is actually a really good map here for Clem as well. Inside and out map 1 is... it's a very pushable map for the Terran. 2 base all-ins seem rather nice. At the bottom left, it's Clem. Clem. It's always interesting to see how... Now, I don't listen to the Chinese broadcast. I don't speak Chinese. I don't really gain much from it. But it is always interesting to see how different regions cast. And we can infer a little bit about how the other regions cast just by how this works, where the intros are really short. Yeah, I'm also really curious to see whether Dark can maintain his momentum, because he won Valencia, but it was 4-3. It was 3-2. It was not a dominating performance. I mean, the finals felt kind of dominating, but leading up to that, it did not really feel super dominating. I do hold that I think Hero should have won that series. He just did scum donkey brains stuff. Also, I'm really excited as we see the ads popping up. WTL is going to have a gift box, and I think we're going to be able to buy it as foreign fans. They have like some WTL coins and playing cards and things like that. So I'm looking forward to getting that, so I can eventually put it up somewhere behind me. It's gonna be a good time. I need to do more. I need to do more for this background. All right, like I have the shelf of stuff. I have some like anime, some laser cut things from King of Battles and stuff from Red Bull and whatever. And I really need to frame the Mari Romanum, the map of the Roman Empire around the Mediterranean. I need to frame that. It's a hand-drawn map. It's very cool. But like there's stuff down here that just feels off. I don't know. Maybe we need to put some plants and some lights. I don't know. I'm not an interior designer, folks. I need your help. But folks, let's be real. As much as I'm a massive hero fan and I'm cheering for him and Ragnarok's cool, I want Mara to get the G5L. Well, Ryan Victor's, I have a green screen. For bigger events, and I mean, my camera's... There we go. I have a green screen. See? Hi. Can I get a custom frame in your Celtic style red gold? Like, the frame itself being red gold? Or, like, get my logo framed in something. Well, like, the problem isn't the shelf itself. It's like what's back there. So, we got to talk about this game a little bit because, again, this is Inside and Out. It is a map that is really short. There are some scary tank pushing positions that you can siege up on. And it used to be, actually, this rock was a little bit rotated closer to the base, so you could siege up a tank outside of it and hit the base, but that has been fixed in the ESL version. So there's some scary pushing positions on this map. And in general, the short rush distance exacerbates that. So we're going to have to see now what exactly... We're going to rotate that a little more. We're going to have to see what exactly Clem wants to go for. For now, it's Hellions on the way, Liberators as well, and a couple extra barracks, but a third base. So no two base commitment from Clem in this game. He feels confident enough to take it in the mid game. And when we talk about mid game, we got to talk about how stylistic DRG is, because he is more so than anyone else. I mean, he exemplifies the Peter Pan low-tech Zerg style. Tons and tons of Ling Banes and just bend but do not break defense. Delayed hives, and really like old school ZVT. But okay, 1-1 is on the way, I believe. Do we have the lair yet? It's either we either have a delayed lair or a quick lair, and I wasn't paying enough attention to the okay, there we go. Lair's on the way. So delayed lair, you get 1-1 before your lair, which is just a heavy focus on Ling Bane, and really you're going to rely on upgraded Lings to hold for the first couple pushes from the Terran, because your Baneling speed is going to be done around the 8-minute mark now. 8:30, 8:45, because again the lair is delayed enough that, well, got to be a little bit slow. And I think actually DRG has, I don't know that he necessarily has a Baneling Nest. Yeah, there we go. Baneling Nest now on the way. So really it's all about Ling Queen for the mid game. And Clem is knocking these rocks down. Okay, I know one Queen off creep is going to be a little bit obnoxious, but DRG is going to be able to hold on to that one. The grenade will knock it back off creep, but it's going to be fine. And Clem is content to macro for the most part. Armory on the way. He's going to have his 2-2 upgrades apace. His first push out, for first real push out, is going to happen in the next probably 30 seconds as his 1-1 does complete. He's got a drop here, but don't know he's going to get too much done. DRG, he's got his fourth base on the way. He's getting a macro hatch as well. So really, yeah, there's been a little bit of interaction on the map, and Ling's looking for a bit of a counterattack here. The wall is down. Oh, they say Protoss needs a damn door, but Terran does too, and DRG into the main base as well. There's a tank here, and it's going to do a nice job defensively. Actually, I thought that was going to get so much more than it did, but good micro there from Clem, keeping everything alive. And now the Banelings are not done, looking for some good connections, and they will actually get some fantastic ones. Clem maybe not playing as much attention at the third base, or on his opponent's side of the map as he paid on his side of the map. That push does not, it gets some creep, and that is a big deal. But it really gets wiped out. Those were fantastic Baneling connections. So DRG stays alive. He keeps his fourth base up. In fact, there's really not a lot of pressure right there whatsoever. And he's got 2-2 on the way, Baneling speed. There's an infestation pit, so he actually is going to go to a quicker hive this game. Good target fire there from Clem, knocking the last remaining Baneling down. But but there are more on the way. So realistically, Clem is going to be able to target one of them, but now the Lings, they come flooding forward. Oh, look at this target fire from Clem. He gets 2 more before it gets too close. He's got to run away back the hell on up. Pardir G is going to go into rather quick. I'm going to assume rather quick hive in this game. I can't imagine it for ultras because ultras into lose is just a thing. Like, you got to be really far ahead to make it work. So I would expect to see the Hydrodin coming down eventually, but we don't see it just yet. In fact, we've seen some Zerg players going for quick hive just for the upgrades and for adrenal and lurkers, and really not going much beyond that tech. But anyway, Baneling speed is now done. Clem is going to try to take a fight here. Baneling's getting so close to making connections, but Clem turns it around, gets a good target fire there, and DRG does have to rotate more of his army around. Liberator sieging up the 3rd base as well, but DRG is so damn fast. His mechanics are fantastic. He's on top of this. But the split from Clem is nice, but here comes Ling's Bane from really 2 different directions. Yeah, they get on top of the tanks. Clem does not really get much of what he wants there. He gets a couple Banes, but DRG's going to be more than happy with that one. As 20 more Lings on the way. 2-2 is going to be done ahead of Clem, but not by all that much. And we're going to have to see where he goes with the hive. Is this truly going to be for Ultra Tech? As, good target fire there from Clem once again. Knocks down a couple more Banes. Is this truly going to be for Ultra Tech? Or does he just stay on the Ling Bane idea for a whole lot longer? Clem has technically started to transition into Widowmines. By technically, I mean he did get Drilling Claws, but I don't really think we've seen all that many Widowmines. His Ling's Bane's off creep. I mean, Clem should be able to split against this one pretty well, but good connections there. Really getting the best possible thing. All the Banelings get connections because Clem was focusing on the right side. Does not even matter, though, because Lings and Banes that come spilling on in. Adrenal glands are on the way. Yeah, this is just going to be for heavily upgraded Ling Bane. Ling surrounding the planetary. Will it go down? Does Clem have the repair? Ling's not really fighting it just yet, but Clem, he keeps this base alive. 15 SCVs die. A lot of Clem's army dies, but DRG sacrifices a lot. Not quite enough Banes. Not quite enough Banes to make that happen. But 3-3 now on the way. Adrenal just about done. And no sign of an Ultra Cavern. So DRG, yeah, just Ling Bane. Don't even see Vipers on the way just yet. Big surround there on top of all. Look at all this bio. So Clem will be forced to give up there. And we got to point out DRG's creep spread, well, kind of pushed in on the north side where Clem was pushing earlier. In general, his creep spread is very, very good as he's sitting on 5 bases. And that is one of the problems with Frost Giant. And getting 5 bases is kind of hard. Or even 4 bases is not the easiest, but it's, well, certainly harder than State Tropical, but 5 bases all the same. It's so far away, but here comes Ling Banes once again. It's a bit of an anti-timing for DRG, though. His effectively +3 on the Lings is not ready just yet, but there it is. So now these are effectively 5-2 Lings. The Banes, they just have the upgrades you can see. But Adrenal, it effectively adds 3 additional upgrades to the Zerglings. They attack so damn fast. Hey, Sabajon. Hope you're doing well. So Clem pushing right side, trying to knock down some of this creep, and it is multiple screens to get onto any really usable base from DRG at this point. Which is really nice for DRG. Is really not nice if you are a Clem fan. I saw Baguettes spammed earlier, and unfortunately, this Baguette seems like it's a couple days old and has been dunked in water, so it's simultaneously stale and soggy. And just disintegrates when you touch it. Kind of what's happening to the Baguette right now, but Clem, it does finally have his 5th base on the way. This drop north side, yeah, it doesn't get much of anything here, but now DRG is going to try to put pressure on the, this is going to force a lift. Does DRG have burrow? I'm actually not sure, but at the very least he's going to be able to delay something. Ling's getting on top of all the tanks. 6-3 Ling is doing such a great work here. SCV's falling down for the 3rd base, and Ling's Banes, they come crashing into the 4th. It looks like, yeah, this repair should, well, actually, wait a minute. Last of the Banes, yeah, the base will fall DRG had to spend a lot to make that happen, but he kills 32 workers, and again, into the main base, the Zerglings will go. Ghost now starting to fall here, and I feel like even getting Ghost is a bit of a mistake against this army. It's just low-tech Lingbane. And, oh, the orbital falls. That should not have happened. You can lift that one on up. So Clem has been punished for his greed in this game. And I'm so looking forward to eventually getting partner. So my emotes have a reasonable prefix. Because right now it's Bayo Mull. And like, that's just kind of gross. I don't think I get Bayo, but anyway, here come Link's Banes crashing in once again. Vipers just on the abduct. I feel like you just, well, it doesn't really matter. But Blinding Clouds on top of the bio as well. Clem, he's going to be able to keep this planetary up, but Link's Banes find their way into the third base and it's dead again. That's a second dead orbital at that base. Hey, Zergling 1, I am... Take a look at this. Your brethren are dominating this game. Putting it to the Terran scum. Interesting to see Clem making Hellbats right now. He has plenty of gas, so I don't really know. Maybe he says, oh yeah, the Lings are causing so many problems. I need Blue Flame Hellbats. And they are going to provide some decent value. And a lot of as those Lings they run in, they're going down, but Lings on the bottom side. That's another dead base for Clem. Maybe DRG loses this base north side. He pulls the drones away, though, so even if he loses it, it's not really the biggest of losses. This game, Kill9Z, this game is live as in I am casting it, but it's off of VODs. As always, this is a WTL time-shifted broadcast, so the games were played... Actually, I believe some of these games were played... I want to say, like, the Elazer Nightmare series was played in advance. But these games were first shown... earlier this morning, 8 a.m. Score is 2-2. Crater 2-0 to Kelazhur, and Elazer 2-0 Nightmare, and DRG Clem. This is the first map of their series, as Hellbat Drop's trying to make something happen, and again, Blue Flame Hellbats, they are spooky. If you're ever curious, the overall score is up top, right? If we're talking about the team league score, then the individual player scores are down at the bottom as Link's Banes again come rolling on in. Clem is fighting damn hard to try to make this happen, but it just feels like there's an overwhelming amount of Zerg into the natural. Blinding Clouds just means that Clem has to do a little bit more micro. But Hellbats, again, they find a little bit of value, but it does not seem to matter here. Clem, his main base has been broken. Now we have Marines dying as they pop for the most part, and Clem, he's got to tap out here. DRG looking very good. He takes game one. But do we go to ace match now? That is the real big question. As we move on to Waterfall. Who's the highest rated player according to Team League stats? I know it was Scarlet, but she's lost some matches. And I don't really blame her for losing matches last week because she has COVID and had it pretty badly. But if you look at, say, overall record, Raynor is at 16-2. Ryung's actually had a really nice season as well. He's at his win rate's not incredible, but he has 15 map wins. He's 15-7. Scarlet 14-5. Buddy at 14-6. Hero at 14-6. Byun 13-6. Clem 13-6, and it goes down from there. What's DRG doing that Raynor isn't? DRG stayed very low tech that game. Also, we have to remember that we're playing on. Well, I don't know that Raynor's ever played Protoss versus Clem. And right now, Clem's TVP is better than his TVZ. CQ123, bunch of numbers. Yeah, like, I think this works out rather well. Steadfast, he does the morning cast. It works out well for him, but I work all day. Oh, Spider-Graph at the start of the games. I think it's Raynor. I think Raynor's in the 90s. But I think if I was a pro player, I'd much prefer to play Zerg against Clem than Protoss against Clem right now. It feels like his TVP is slightly better than his TVZ. But also, DRG played Peter Pan Zerg. I mean, he got up to Hive, but it was just Massling Bane. And Clem actually made the bad read there. He thought that this was going into... he thought that this game was going to be going into Lingbane, or into something higher tech, so he started getting ghosts, and that was just really a waste of gas and waste of minerals. But also, Clem has probably the best map for Terran in the pool right now. He's been able to choose that one because there are no vetoes. It's loser pick for map 2, which I'm a big fan of loser pick, actually, because it is really the best loser pick, no veto. Because it is absolutely the best way to get 9-game series or a 7-game series in a best of 7. It's the best way to get max maps. No, I'm saying that I think Clem's TVP is better than his TVZ at the moment. So even if Raynor was equally good at Zerg and Protoss, I think Raynor would pick Zerg. Just given by how my Clem is. And Killa9Z, I'm not sure that I'd say DRG is the best TVZ player in the world right now. I think that's probably Dark. Dark or Cyril. And it's hard to guess with Cyril. Hard to tell with Cyril because Cyril offline. ZVT. I mean, online Cyril and offline Cyril really are two different beasts, and I think that's very clear at this point. But anyways, Clem, where is he going in this game? Starport on the way. Does he get more aggressive? I mean, this is Waterfall. This map is really gross for Zergs. The amount of chokes and how quickly you move from your third base to your opponent's third base. Yeah, that was a question. So we saw Clem get Drilling Claws last game. He really didn't get a lot of Widow Mines. Maybe he respected DRG's micro too much. I don't know, but it felt like a misread. Yeah, or with equal ping. Or with minimal ping, yeah. Raynor mainly plays Toss against Zergs, yeah. And in EPT Cups. Although Ratata did... Actually, I'm kind of excited. There's going to be a show match tomorrow, a money match, between Raynor and Ratata PVZ. Where... because Raynor got knocked out 3-0 the TSL upper bracket qualifiers by Ratata. And... one of, I guess, Lambo's viewers put up the money for it. So that's going to be on Lambo's channel tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it's hard to say that this is the reason why they lost, but it's just something you got to pay attention to it. Like, well, when in this era of online tournaments, when we do King of Battles, and it's like, okay, Mars doing very well, and that made it even more impressive. But he won King of Battles too, literally as the sun was coming up. He played through the entire night. You know. It's not an excuse, but it is something you just got to pay attention to. You're like, okay, well, you know, there are time zones are a thing and sleep is a thing and everything else. But now here comes a really big push from Clem with Hellions. Does he have an armory? I didn't quite. Yes, he does. So it's a stimmed bio Hellbat push coming out from Clem in this game number 2, trying to take us to an ace match. Let's see if he can do it, because for right now, not a lot of Lings are on the map. 12 are on the way, but Queens are now already starting to fall. And with 2 medevacs here, it's not just you kill 1 medevac and you're done. Medevacs microing backwards. Oh, DRG's not even targeting them down, the Queens. Now they are starting to fall here. More and more Lings. They come cycling on in, but they come in drips and drabs. You want a little bit more than that. Now the bio stimming on forward. Another Queen looks like it is primed to fall if he can chase it down. The bio, actually, if Clem is so overstimmed at this point, though, it's going to be a little bit easier to deal with. But there we go. Another Queen is dead. Lings, they got to be careful. And Clem is just chasing these Queens to the ends of the earth. Regicide here on Waterfalls. The Hellbats, they're actually really not in the best position to deal with the Lings for the most part, but Clem's going to fix that one. Marines, they're falling down at this point, but Clem has done such significant damage to DRG. He's going to get another Queen. No, he's not. But Clem has done such significant damage to the setup of DRG right now. DRG lost 5 queens. I believe something like that. 4 or 5 queens. And that's the point where Zerg struggles to find enough queens for injects. Where they struggle to be able to creep spread anymore. So as Clem gets aggressive on the map once again with this 1-1 finishing up here, it's going to be hard for DRG to remake that creep. It's going to be hard for DRG to have the buffer of HP that he would like, so he can't drone as aggressively. He needs more army. And we got to point out, of course, DRG lost a lot of his lings, lost a lot of lings in that defense as well. But, well, this tank sitting here off creep, it's not even the best tank position, but it's going to do well enough. DRG's looking for a counterattack. He's got to make something happen here. He cannot just let Clem push into him like this. So, lings are going to look for something, but Clem is well prepared. Marines sitting between the natural and third base. Tank sieged up as well, and yeah, scouting Marine will die. But Clem's pushed forward, and again, we talked about this. It is really hard for DRG to be able to remake this creep spread or respread the creep right now, because really just of how many lings or how many queens he did lose is now the bio finding a little bit of a ling run by. But DRG getting a little bit more active on the map once again. With all those Banes, he could bust the wall down, but then he would have no Banes defensively. That being said, Baneling speed is done. DRG is much quicker into 2-2 than his opponent. In fact, Clem has forgotten +2 armor. Now Clem stimming backwards. Tank's going to look for the siege up, but it is rather late. It's going to get one shot. Actually, a really nice shot on the Banes, but even still, Clem's forced it back up here. That being said, he's been able to separate his army from the Banes just a little bit more, and more lings are falling. Tank on the high ground, but it's not sieged up just yet. DRG trying to overrun Clem, but I don't think he's going to be able to. Yes, there are lings and Banes, and they are powerful drugs, but the tank shots there knocking so much down. Clem on equal workers to DRG and double the army supply. Good push there from DRG, but he was off creep, and Clem microed his way around corners. That didn't really work out all that well. Scouting Marine, his red shirt. Yes, exactly. Dynamics boom. So, folks, it's looking like we're going to... Oh, good run by, though, from DRG, but there's enough there defensively. It's looking more and more like we're going to go to an ace match here, which is exciting as hell. But we got to point out that... After the, actually, I think we're just going to be able to go straight into it after that. But after the ace match, I'm going to grab some food. There's going to be future versus, oh, wait, maybe not an ace match. Big connections there from DRG, but then you look at the supply and say, okay, the next round of Terran's coming. In fact, this round of Terran's not even dead just yet. As the tank's still around, another reinforcing round of Clem comes rolling on in. This map is so hard for Zergs. You kill off one army, the other army is just already there. Marauders here in the front looking just to tank the Banes, and they will be able to do so. The bio... crunching on through. Yeah, Clem's down 2 upgrades, but more stuff, it beats less stuff, and Clem's +2 is going to be done soon enough. Baneling's looking for those connections, and they get some, but not enough. DRG falls. Clem ties it up once again, folks. We're going to go to an ace match. But I do need to point out that after this ace match, we're going to have a brief break, and then it's going to be Future versus Cham best of 9 on this channel, and we're not even going to go offline, because I don't need to go... what's the word? I don't need to go, hey, Novi, thanks so much for the Prime Gaming subscription. I don't need to add a delay. Because it's just a show match. So we're going to be moving to that afterwards. I'm going to take a brief break to grab some food, because I've not eaten dinner just yet. And we're going to go into that one. But now, folks, let's get into this ace match. Actually, who do we think it's going to be? Is it Clem or Elazer as the ace for Liquid? Is it Creator or DRG? Now, I would think it might be Elazer. Elazer's been looking really good, but I think you snipe with Creator then. And Creator should be enough to scare Elazer away, because Elazer's PVZ, even if he did 2-0 Nightmare, has not been incredible. Which means you send Clem, which would then mean you would send DRG. So I think it's going to be Clem DRG as our aces here. And it will. All right. On Tropical Sacrifice, another big map. In the bottom left, Clem. We missed the DRG intro, but that's fine. Yeah, Creator played very well tonight. But I don't know that I want to risk Creator versus Clem, as I think the big deal. Because Clem is very good right now. He hasn't had the best. He's 13-6. He hasn't really had the best WTL. In fact, his win rates are pretty consistent across the board. 68% against Terran. Apparently, there are a lot of Terrans than WTL. 67% against Terran, 100% against Zerg. Which these stats must not be accurate then, because he just won one DRG. Anyway, Clem's PvT is TVP is very good. So what does Clem do in game 3? That was a weird build game 2 that I don't see working again. It was a 3 base expand that happened to also be a Hellbat 2-1 or double medevac stim timing, which is very cool. But also, you know, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So I think we're going to see just more of the same from DRG. Ling, you know, heavily melee upgrades, 1-1 upgrades before lair, delayed lair. Big focus on increased spread, big focus on expanding and just saying, hey, Clem, come take me. You know? I think I can do that, but ooh, nice grenade there, but not quite timed out perfectly, so the Reaper's not going to be able to bug the animation and kill the drone while it's in the air, which is the goal there. You try to get it, you try to get the drone right as it's going low, and then you get it up in the air, then the drone dies, but it's really hard to do. And Clem, well, he's just going greed. He says, oh, Tropical Sacrifice. It's a platform map, or it's got a 4-base platform. I'm just going to take my third. I don't think you're going to be able to contest it all that well, and it does mean he doesn't have a lot of pressure on the map. Does mean you have a lot of pressure on the map, or you don't have as much pressure on the map, which always feels dangerous against Zergs. All right, this idea of, oh, I'm going to go and let them grow pretty much to whatever they want. But it depends on the player. Mario lets this happen, and then he stomps him in 40-minute games. Unless it's Dark. But also, in fairness, Dark had time to study what exactly Mario was playing in that tournament, and, yeah, I mean, it's the finals. Dark was looking scary as hell, and Mario was tired. Mario had some insanely long games in the quarters and the semis, whereas Dark stomped his quarters really hard, and then he had a tight series against Hero, but the maps weren't super long, so like his total game time was a lot less. He had more time to relax. Plus, Mario had lower semis, so Mario had to go straight from kill and creator into fighting Dark. And I'm not trying to say that this is any particular, like, oh wow, it's unfair. No. But it does mean that Dark did have multiple out-of-game advantages going for him, regardless of his in-game form. And part of that is, of course, just a result of how Mario chooses to play. If he says, I'm going to play a lot of long, epic macro games, well, you can't say, wow, yeah, this is bad, because he played long, epic macro games. He chose to do that. That is his playstyle. That is how he wins a lot of games. That is how he 3-0'd or 3-1'd probably the best StarCraft player in the world. Maybe not the best Zerg, but the best complete StarCraft player. I feel like Mario wouldn't actually say that. That's fair. I'm more putting the words of Mario's fans in Mario's mouth. Because I've already seen people complain, oh, well, it's not fair that Mario had to do blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, no. There's always an excuse when Mario doesn't win. Anyway, 1-1 now on the way. Clem adding a couple additional barracks, but his eBay's just a little bit delayed. Well, his 1-1 just a little bit delayed compared to DRG. It's going to be fine, though, as Clem already has his third base on location on just about 50 workers already. And we're going to see a little, well, it's just going to be a lot of creep spread going down. But the Banshee does a good job of zoning the queens out, which means that this is a lot of creep spread that Clem's going to be able to knock down. He got, not every single tumor, but almost. Wouldn't even mind him seeing target down the Reaper to try to make that happen. But now Banshee's on the high ground here. Oh, he's going to be able to get one. No transfuse. So one queen will fall. Second one under a little bit of threat. But now they find their way under the spore. So it's going to be okay. But 2 workers fall and make it 3. Clem is swarming here in this game number, we effectively say game number 3 of this best of 3 between Clem and DRG. And well, it's looking good. Now, not saying that this game is over by any stretch of the imagination, but we talked about how Clem would struggle to find significant pressure on the map in the early to mid game because he went 3CC setup. Well, he's proven me wrong a little bit. That was fantastic there from Clem. Clem. I feel like we need a coconut for, that's like Clem sounds. I don't know. That's a struggle. But another Overlord will fall. 1-1 is done for DRG. His ground army is superior for the moment. And this is look at the body block there. That's another dead queen. Clem has done such a good job these last 2 games of really punishing the queen count of DRG, keeping it rather low. And here we go, surround on top of everything. Although 1-1 is not yet done for Clem. It's a bit of an anti-time. He's got to run away. 1 medevac falls. Second one getting very low indeed. And that push from Clem was looking good until it wasn't. Fantastic surround there from DRG. Fantastic punish before the upgrades of Clem did complete. Now, well, the Lingbanes, they're going to show their face, but they're not really going to dive in. Clem, though, I think he's understood that he should probably have Widow Mines. I think someone talked to him before that, after game 1. He said, Clem DRG likes this Ling style. You should build Widow Mines, not tanks. So, double factory Widow Mine will be on the way eventually. Banshees are actually providing a rather strong defensive front for Clem right now, and I don't think anything died. But 12 mutas are on the way. And while this is not the best muta map, the dead air space is not insignificant. So we're going to have to see if DRG can make that happen as Clem gets another push going here with his 1-1 with stim, combat shields, all those wonderful things. 3 Widow Mines at a time, and of course, drilling claws as well. So these Widow Mines are going to be a problem for DRG. But already we've seen the momentum of the Terran and get swatted aside once. We're going to have to see if it can happen again. Widow Mines, though, onto the 4th base. 10 workers fall. Clem finding so much value here, and he rotates right side. He's going to knock down a lot of creep, opening up a really nice pushing position for the young Frenchman to allow pressure onto what is the 4th base of DRG. But Ling's Banes, Clem's not paying attention. He loses so damn much here. He does not pick up anything at all because I guess he was defending the mutas on what was supposed to be Clem's 4th base. Don't know. It looks like maybe a command center was canceled there, but mutas in the main base now. It's going to be okay. And Clem actually, wait a minute, it's 8:50 and Clem forgot his combat shields. He's been so heavy on the pressure, but forgetting that combat shields is a bit of a problem. Now Lings find their way onto the 3rd base of Clem as well. They're Banelings as well, but they're not really there just yet. 4th base, it's dropping down, but Muta's taking their pound of flesh as well here. And from every side, DRG is embodying the swarm. 17 workers, 18, 19 go down. Mutas will not be able to get the command center because there's just not enough there. Looks like they took a Widow Mine shot as well. But DRG equalizing all the damage he took and more so. There was just nothing. Actually, there is not a lot mining here in the 3rd base for Clem. 4th base, at the same 53 workers to 89. And that's going to be dead muta. Random Widow Mines on the field are always going to be a problem there for a Zerg player, but 4 more mutas are on the way. I think we have thought I saw a bunch of Banelings in production as well, but, well, we don't have them. 15 more are on the way. DRG just got a hold, though, because Clem is in a terrible position at this point. Mutas are trying to fight. Widow Mines are going to burrow, but they're going to get targeted down. Really no damage on the mutas, and now we're going to see Widow Mines continue to fall. The Banshees are now dead. That extra DPS gone from this world is now Clem. He's running backwards, but Ling is running forward. Widow Mine, good shot there, and actually it gets, that's actually fantastic. It knocks the Overseer down, which means these Widow Mines are cloaked for forever. But DRG is up 70 workers, or 70 supply, excuse me. And 40 of that, in fairness, is in the worker count. This is looking incredible for the man from Busan. Clem looked like he had such good pressure in the middle of the map, knocking queens down early, getting damage into the economy of DRG with the Widow Mine drop, but then DRG, in one moment, he went. He knocked down the economy at Clem's 3rd. He did so much damage to Clem's army as well that Clem's now, he's on the back foot. He's going to have to turtle this one out. He's going to have to pull a Maru here, and I don't know that Clem is a fantastic early to mid game player, but he's not quite the late game player that Maru is. So I don't know that he's going to be able to do that necessarily, as Widowmines continue to get sniped down here. Banelings come crashing on in. Yeah, Widowmine does something defensively, but the wall is down. Widowmines knock down the rest of that, but even still, 5 workers fall. The wall is dead. It opens up another attack path for DRG in this game. And DRG now, he's on, what is that, 5 base to 6 base on the way. Muta's looking for that magic box on the Thor, and it's going to go down pretty damn quickly here. Banelings into the base as well. 19 more SCVs, they fall. Banelings, they run right past the Thor. Muta's actually got to be a little bit careful, but they're just targeting down the 3rd base. It does not matter anymore whether the Mutas fall at this point, because Clem, he's at barely at 120 supply, not even. DRG's maxed out. He's got money in the bank, even if it's a small amount. And Clem, he's going to have to go for a last-ditch push at this point. 3-3 is not even a twinkle in Clem's eye. He's not been able to keep his upgrades up. And now, DRG's not even going to let him on that side of the map. Bane's come rolling forward again. Widowmines are not going to burrow off here. Clem's spitting desperately for his life as again Thor's will actually no. Clem's going to pick that one up. Thor will not fall, but Bane's good Widowmines though. Bane, they're going to keep rolling on forward. Muta's on top of these Thors once again. It is dead. The Mutas at this point feel like they can just fight the Marines, but they're just going to fight the Thors instead. Clumping up a little bit, but it's dead anyways. Not enough shots here. 3rd base falls. Clem, it loses in the ace match. And if there was any hope that Liquid was going to be able to pull the most insane run and qualify for playoffs off that, no longer, as DRG consumes his Liquid and wins in the ace match. What a game there from DRG. He was kind of on death's door.